looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. We need more dogs.
And welcome back to the latest, greatest episode of the Shaving Points podcast. My name is Jake May, joined as always by my co-host Quentin Crisco, coming to you live for Week 18, the final week of the season. Going to get these playoffs started next week. So,
playoffs.
How we doing that, Quentin?
Doing good, man. Just
playoffs.
So, I had my first losing week in the last 10 weeks this past week. So that was unfortunate, but still happy with it. Still up 5 units on the year. Model is now up 2.5 units on the year. There will be no model picks this week because they won't make sense because half the games don't have the normal players playing.
Yeah, half the games don't matter.
Yeah, half the games don't matter. So we only got a few picks for you guys tonight. We'll get through them here, and then we'll get some awesome college football pick in there.
Yeah,
championship game, and we'll rock and roll.
So first and foremost, congratulations on keeping Matt Eberflus as the Chicago Bears head coach.
Yes,
he's securing.
Well, not
the
official
number one
yet.
Overall pick.
If he beats the Packers or at least keeps it close, he's back. If he gets kicked, if they get their butts whooped, he might be gone.
I see. Well, congratulations on the number one overall pick.
Yeah,
you can do anything with it. It could even be a boat.
I was about to say it could even be a boat.
So that's exciting. Fresh new toy or a lot of toys, depending on what you do with it. Back-to-back years, number one overall pick. Hasn't happened since the Cleveland Browns of 8 years ago.
Something like that. I mean,
but both of theirs was earned.
Yeah, both of theirs were very well earned. Hopefully the Bears are putting themselves in a really good spot here. We'll see. I'm still. Man,
do you have Carolina's pick again next year?
Make this hard. Justin Fields starting to make this a hard decision.
Yeah. That is very tough. I still love Caleb. I think you draft Caleb, you ride it out with Fields, and worst thing that happens is Fields doesn't work out and Caleb can sit for a year.
I mean, I would not put the kid or Fields through that situation in Chicago. It would be hell. It would be awful.
Maybe. But what if it's like Bears go 11-4, but Caleb Williams is promising in practice. They lose in the NFC championship game because one of your guys jumps off sides at the very end against an all-time quarterback like Joe Flacco leading the let's say, I don't even know who he'd be leading next year. 49ers. You're playing the 49ers NFC championship game. One of your guys, Montez Sweat, jumps off sides on a fourth down where you stop him, and they end up going on to win. And then they lose a historic Super Bowl that scores like 43-38. And they play like the Baltimore Ravens. They run like a Baltimore special where Lamar catches a touchdown. And then they're like, okay, Justin, you were great to us, but we're going to move on. And then Caleb Williams wins the Super Bowl and an MVP in his second year in the league.
I mean, just call us the Chicago Chiefs at that point.
It could happen.
I mean, it can't. I don't think Caleb needs to sit. So it's kind of like, what are you doing here? And Fields isn't as proven as a guy like Alex Smith was. Like, I think that the parallels are a little different there.
And you don't have Andy Reid.
Yeah, and we don't have Andy Reid.
And
Andy Reid said to do it, sign me up.
And you don't really have the team that the Chiefs had. Well, you might have that team, but you kind of already knew the Chiefs were a good team when they took Mahomes.
I mean, honestly, the Bears are in like arguably the best position any team has ever been in to draft a quarterback number 1 overall. As far as their roster goes, they're set up to make life easy on whoever they take if they take a rookie quarterback.
Yes. So very exciting times for Chicago. So right now is Justin Fields probably top 3 Chicago Bear quarterback of all time?
Probably can't put him ahead of Cutler, just based on pure volume stats.
Yeah.
Can't put him ahead of Jim McMahon because he has a ring.
Correct.
And
that's where I had him 3.
Yeah, you might be. You might be.
And as we discussed last week, Bears second oldest franchise behind the Cardinals.
Yeah. Well, so if we're going pre-merger, Sid Luckman is number 1.
Sure.
I mean,
you think Sid Luckman, if he was thrown into 2024, would be better than Justin Fields?
If he was raised in
just
2024, yeah.
No, just take the exact same human and plop him into 2024.
Yeah, I think he'd be really confused by a lot of things, including football.
Yeah, probably. But that's what's always so funny about those arguments, like the Babe Ruth argument.
About it. They ran everything out of the T formation.
Yeah.
It's a completely wildly different game.
Mm-hmm. And fast back then was probably just 4.7 probably, and big back then was 240.
Yeah, I mean,
and now
I like 260 maybe. I'd say a bit there because there's like World War II, post World War II.
Yeah, I mean 240 was really big. 260 would have been like a 340 guy these days, probably.
I mean, so I don't know. I feel like, yeah, because Dick Butkus, he came in the league in, I want to say 69. So that's like probably 20 years after Luckman's last game, something like that.
Yeah.
And he had to be like 240, 230 probably.
20 years later, though.
And that's a linebacker, though. That's
when guys are getting big.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, crazy. But congratulations. Hopefully you get it right because, historically speaking, Bears always get it right when it comes to quarterback decisions. So, there's no possible way this goes south.
Nope. I am not at all losing sleep over it. I'm not worried about it. They'll get it right. History shows.
One way or another, you're going to have your franchise quarterback for the next 15 years, go on to win many Super Bowls. Because if there's one thing we know about the Chicago Bears organization, it's great quarterback play.
Yep. That's what we're about in Chicago.
It's the only thing you can really hang your hat on there.
Yeah. I mean, if only the defense and the running game would catch up.
One of these days.
One of these days, we'll get there. We will get there, people.
All right. Well, let's talk about the here and now and the Week 18 playoff implications on the line. First game with playoff implications. You have the number 1 seed. Oh, you wanna start there?
No, we can start Thursday night.
I think it's Saturday.
Oh, we can start with Saturday.
You have the number 1 seed, Baltimore Ravens. No Lamar. I think most of their starters are going to be out. But Tyler Huntley, former Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley, is starting this game against the Steelers. Ravens at home, +4 dogs. And I'm taking the Ravens here. I think Harbaugh is still going to try to win the game, whether or not he's still going to game plan. And I'm taking this.
Or have a stroke trying not to. Like, I don't think he's capable of not trying.
And I really don't want to see this Pittsburgh team in the playoffs, so I'm really hoping Ravens win this game. But I'm taking Ravens +4. Don't really have anything to say about the over/under because I have no idea what direction this game will go. But I'm hoping Tyler Huntley and the boys can at least keep it close. So I'm taking Ravens +4 in that. And that's all we got to say about that, unless you got more.
I'm leaning towards the over.
Yeah,
I think this game's gonna get a little nutty, a little weird.
very well
I don't
could.
know why, but like if the Ravens cover, or if the if the Ravens cover, I think this goes over.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, but I'm not betting it. Just a wild thought there.
Yeah, I have faith in Huntley.
Next up, we got the Houston Texans going to Indianapolis. Weird things happen at Lucas Oil Stadium.
They
Always
do.
remember that.
Colts are home dogs.
Yep, 1.5 point dogs, 47.5 point total. You got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so CJ Stroud and the boys, D'Amico Ryans, in my opinion, coach of the year, NFL this year, in a tight race, probably with Shane Steichen. I think it's going to be one of them. And I think the winner of this game gets coach of the year. But with the way Will Anderson's playing lately on that defense for Houston, the way CJ Stroud has played all season, I can't remember if he's getting any help back this week at the wide receiver position, but I'm still taking the Texans here. I love the way Stroud's played this season. He was my favorite rookie quarterback coming into this draft. First legacy defining moment. Has a chance to actually win the division. If they win this game, they don't secure the division, but they make it to where Jags have to win their game to win the division. So winner of this game for sure gets in the playoffs and has potential to win their division. And I like CJ Stroud, the Texans, on this one. I'm going to take them on the money line at minus 120. I guess you could take it minus 1.5 and think it's going to be a 1 point game. I'm just laying the juice a little bit and taking the money line at minus 120, though.
Yeah, I'm leaning the Texans on this. You mentioned the wide receiver. Noah Brown's questionable. The Tank Dell ain't coming back this year. So, I mean,
No.
that's the only thing I'm seeing on there.
I was really Nico Collins.
Yeah, Nico Collins is
playing.
playing. Yeah,
Okay.
he played last week.
Some things to note on this game. I think Dalton Schultz needs like 3 catches and 63 yards for like a $500,000 bonus. So keep that in mind if you're betting player props this weekend. I think Devin Singletary needs either yards or a touchdown. I saw it earlier, but Devin Singletary needs something for a pretty big bonus. D'Amico Ryans, former player, retired not too long ago. I think if he has it his way, he's going to get his guys paid if he can without compromising the game plan. So Dalton Schultz and Singletary, look out for on player props this weekend. You might want to look up what the exact numbers are and what they need, but I know for sure both of them are extremely close to hitting bonuses.
Yeah, I'll try to look that up and put it out on the Twitter account because that's interesting. Like those can be some really profitable plays right there.
Another one we're probably not going to talk about is DeAndre Hopkins. I think is like a $1.5 million bonus for something. I saw a whole list earlier, and like those are a few of them that jumped off to me.
Have you ever seen Any Given Sunday?
Yes, but not enough times to really know it by heart.
So at the end of that movie, it's like the guy who Lawrence Taylor plays, like Shark LeVay. He's like, I just need I need to play this game. I need my $1 million bonus.
Oh,
he's like, you're like, you could die. And he's like, no, I need my $1 million. Like that's all I think of. Shark LeVay worth $1 million laying on the stretcher.
Yeah, worth $1 million. Yeah, and then he's like, yeah, they're hauling him off. Yeah, he was great. The crazy thing is, he probably played a toned down version of his real self in that movie.
Oh, I know it's ridiculous. That is probably exactly what he was like. All right, moving on. Enough about the Miami Sharks and their star player Shark LeVay. Let's talk some Buccaneers Panthers. Bucks are 4.5 point favorites. Total at 37.5. You got anything on this one?
I don't. I thought the Bucks were going to steal it last week, and they absolutely laid an egg against the Saints. I would assume they will this week, but I mean, shit, you never know. Panthers are officially playing for nothing. They could have spoiled the Bears' hopes and dreams if with a win last week and a couple other things happening, but now they can't even really play spoiler. They can play spoiler to the Buccaneers, but the Saints would still have to win for it to really matter anyway. So, about the time where literally nothing matters whatsoever for the Panthers, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and play their best game of the season. But I like the Panthers in this game, or I like the Buccaneers in this game, but can't really trust anybody in the NFC South at this point.
Yeah, I mean, so the Bucks are in a win and in situation with that. I mean, they win the division if they win this game,
or if the Saints lose.
Yeah,
but
or
if they would have won last week, they would have won the division.
Yeah,
and they absolutely laid an egg.
But this one's a lot easier. Carolina's not good.
Neither are the Saints.
Neither are the. They're not as bad though. Not as dysfunctional.
Nowhere near as dysfunctional.
Their owner isn't over here dumping water bottles on Jags fans.
Yeah, what a crazy man.
Like, I think Carolina...
How do you go from one of the most hated owners of all time with old dude that owned the commie skins and Snyder, yeah. Everybody just hated Snyder. You didn't really hear about anybody else, and like go from that to immediately as soon as they get him out to like this guy is the worst owner in all of sports.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's awful. Like it's getting ugly there. It's getting really ugly there really fast at this point.
You know what's going to happen though? They're going to get Harbaugh because nobody's going to want to coach for him, and he's going to be like, "Fuck it, I'll pay Harbaugh $70 million and give him what I'm going to tell him I'm going to give him full control. Then 8 months later, try to take back over control. Probably have a fist fight at the 50-yard line, fire him, and Harbaugh's going to walk away with his $70 million and probably go coach like a Division III school. Try to get him elevated to Division I so he can win a national championship that way. After he wins with Michigan this year, just to give himself the hardest route possible."
Yeah, I see it. But with this game, like, man, I want to take Bucks minus 4.5. I'm not doing it because they only beat the Panthers by 3 in Tampa a few weeks ago. But man, everything is screaming like that. That's the one red flag to me. But other than that, like, Carolina doesn't have the firepower to keep up with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and
until they do.
They don't, though. They just don't.
What if Jonathan Mingo just says, like, fuck it, I'm me?
I guess so. I mean, maybe Laviska Shenault's going to go off for 100 yards, come off the IR. I don't know. But, like,
what if Jonathan Mingo's just like, I'm a lank. I'm going to let a naysayer know.
What?
You didn't see that spot by Reese Davis?
No.
Or Reese Davis, I can't remember. He was talking about Jalen Milroe before the Alabama game, and he was like, he wears the word lank across his shirt. And for those that don't know, lank means let a naysayer know. Then Pat McAfee was sitting next to him. He goes, I thought you were about to lose your job, brother. And then Desmond Howard was sitting there, and he was just like, eyes wide open. And then, like, the dude, like, I don't even think he realized, like, that's obviously not what it means. And he was just like, I don't know what these guys are talking about, but yeah, he just doesn't let the doubters get to him. And I'm like,
all right, so that's what Mingo's going to do, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not betting it. I kind of want to, but I know it's better off if I don't. Just let it be and get to the playoffs where everything matters.
Yeah. Yeah, just save your money.
Next up, Bears at Packers. Packers are 3-point favorites, total of 44.5. Packers are in almost a win and in type deal. There's like they're not
90,
guaranteed to
I
be
think
in with a win.
96%.
Yeah. And the Bears, Matt Eberflus, his job is on the line. Justin Fields' job is on the line. There's a lot to play for them, even though they can't make the playoffs. I think this might be one of the best games of the weekend.
Do you remember it was maybe week 11? Cowboys were 3 games back in the division. Do you remember what I talked about?
No. About the Packers beating the Cowboys in the playoffs?
Yeah, I went on a long, long spiel about this is nightmare scenario. Dallas is going to find their way to a 1 seed or find their way to winning the division. Packers are going to sneak their way in at the last possible second. Packers are going to come to Dallas. It's going to be redemption time for Dallas. The big mean man is gone. No more Rodgers. And it's just all going to happen again. And we're in perpetual hell against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
I've never been cheering harder for a team this week than I'm cheering for the Chicago Bears.
There we go. Get after it.
And if the Packers win and beat the fucking Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs, we got to go find that clip and just post it everywhere, because I said it like in October 3rd when it looked like there was like no chance the Cowboys were winning the division, and it looked like there was no chance the Packers were going to win, and the Cowboys had just lost and the Packers had just won, but I think the Packers were like 3-4 at the time, and the Cowboys were 2 or 3 games back in the NFC East. And fucking here we are.
Here we are. Go Bears.
Go Bears. Doing it for Dick.
Doing it for Dick. That's what we're here for.
I have the Bears in a parlay. So I have Bears on the money line.
Yeah, I've got Bears money line. My official bet is Bears +3 on this one. One other note on this one. This is the second year in a row where the Packers are in a win and in situation. Last year they lost to the Lions.
And the Lions missed the playoffs.
If Matt LaFleur does this 2 years in a row, he's going to be on the hot seat next year. I don't think there's any way around it.
And then maybe Jerry Jones will hire him.
It will be a hell of a hire.
I think so.
I want him to be on the hot seat. I want him the hell out of my division. Matt LaFleur's too damn good at his job.
I want him on the Cowboys.
I want him on the Bears.
Oh, spicy. Maybe y'all should trade the number 1 pick for him.
No.
What about the number 13 pick? Your own pick?
No, not a first.
What about a conditional 4th?
Yeah. All day. All right. Moving on. Your Cowboys going to Raja, Maryland. Take on the Commies. Cowboys versus Commies. We're in America, so we can't have those Commies doing things here. Commies are 13.5-point dogs. Total of 46.5. What do you think?
Okay. Let me take you down a trip down memory lane. The year was 2013. Dallas Cowboys were the best team in the NFC, coming off a monster win of the Seattle Seahawks 3 weeks prior, absolutely rolling. Basically secure the number 1 seed and avoid having to go to Green Bay on the road in the playoffs where Des Bryant caught the ball and DeMarco Murray fumbled it and lost the game for us. And somehow it was Tony Romo's fault, even though he was like 28 for 31 for 341 yards and 4 touchdowns. But that's neither here nor there. Week 16, Tony Romo, punctured lung. Week 17, go on the road, play a Commies team led by none other than Colt McCoy. Win, and you're the 1 seed. Lose, and you're the 2 seed. And Cowboys lose that game and get the 2 seed. And we have to play Green Bay in the playoffs. So, If we lose this one, we get to play the Buccaneers in the playoffs. So my brain is in a pretzel. But I'm taking Cowboys money line in a parlay. It's 14-point favorite, so nothing more really to say. Commies are terrible. I don't know who's starting for him at quarterback. Dallas obviously going to be playing everybody, win, and then win the division. Basically get home field up until the NFC Championship game, and you got to hope Philly can knock out San Fran in the second round and then have Philly come to Dallas so we can bury their dick in the dirt one last time, bury that entire team. Jalen Hurts isn't the guy. They fired Nick Sirianni 2 years removed from a Super Bowl, and they want to put Harry Roseman's head on a spike because nobody in Philly is grateful for what they have. And they're already riding against their GM and their head coach 1 year removed from the Super Bowl as an 11-win team. They're fucking psychos. Let them come to Dallas in the NFC Championship game so we can bury them once and for all. And maybe they can actually go make some bad hires and be in poverty for about 10 or 12 years and make me so happy.
Yeah. I agree with what you said. I'm not touching this game at all, though. I mean, I think the Cowboys are really good at just like
Losing these games
over bad teams.
Oh.
And that's kind of what I expect here. So I wouldn't blame anyone for taking Cowboys minus 13.5. Again, I'm staying away. Just get me to the playoffs where everything matters. And it's honestly, I love betting playoffs. I feel like everything is more predictable because like outlier performances are much fewer and further between.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these games, I would probably tell people just save your money for the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So
next up here, we got Seattle Seahawks, Pete Carroll chewing that gum all the way down to Arizona. Take on the Cardinals. Seahawks are 2.5-point favorites here. Over under set at 47.5. What do you think, Jay?
I think the Cardinals have 4 wins, and 3 of them are going to be against 10-win teams. And I don't think they win this game. I think Seahawks win this game, and I don't know what that does to the playoff. I forgot what that does to the playoff implications. I think Seattle's winning in, right? Or no?
I believe so. I can double check.
They lost last week, which might mess that up for them.
Yeah.
Okay. So Eagles are the 5 seed no matter what. Then 6 seed. I think Rams are the 6 seed. Are they not?
The Seahawks are the 7 seed right now.
But they lose the 7th seed if Green Bay wins.
Oh, do they? I thought they got it if they won this game.
No, because then Green Bay wouldn't have such a high percentage if they won their game. Because Rams are ahead of both of them.
Right, for the 7 seed.
There's only 7 teams that get in.
Yeah, 7 teams. So the Seahawks are the final seed right now, as it stands right now. So if both them and Green Bay win,
then why does Green Bay have like a 97% chance to get in if they win?
I don't know.
I think they have to win, and the Seahawks have to lose. No, I think they can lose, and Seattle can lose, and Green Bay gets in. But I think if Green Bay wins and Seattle wins, it's Green Bay.
Who's the 5?
The tiebreaker? Philly.
Yeah, so Philly.
LA.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe their strength of schedule like matches up better at that point or something. Then
no, well, so they're both division games, so maybe I don't know. I don't know why Seattle would be ahead of them right now, both playing division games this weekend, and Green Bay would jump them if they both won. But I know Green Bay's chance to make the playoffs is much higher than Seattle's.
Interesting. So you're telling me not to trust my article from CBS New York.
What does that say?
That says the Seahawks. Yeah, Seattle win plus Green Bay loss or
Yeah.
tie, or Seattle tie plus Green Bay loss. Yes, they need a
Yeah.
Green Bay loss.
Yeah.
CBS New York lies.
No. Green Bay loss gets them in.
Yeah, that's from ESPN. But the CBS New
Oh.
York article says they're clinging to the final wild card spot right now. When in reality, Green Bay probably has the final wild card spot right now.
Yeah, even though technically there's some probably arbitrary thing that has them ahead. But if they both win, then Green Bay jumps them.
Okay.
But if Seattle would have won last week when they shit the bed, then it would have been winning in.
Regardless, I'm taking Seahawks minus 2.5. I actually really like this play. Seahawks coming off the loss, Cardinals coming off the win. I just think there's a lot like that. Seahawks beat them by 10 last time they played in Seattle. Yeah, Seahawks minus 2.5.
I don't hate it. I'm not taking that game. Something about those Cardinals, man. Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen. Who would have thought?
Hey, they're feisty at home. They are very feisty at home. On the road, not so much until Philly.
Unless they play Philly.
Yeah.
But yeah, who would have thought you lose two really good coordinators and your team's not as good?
Yeah.
Crazy.
We talked about it in the offseason. We gave a prediction to it.
I mean, it was all their fault that they didn't win the Super Bowl. So, like, why does it matter if they both leave?
Because it was all their fault that they got to the Super Bowl?
No, that they didn't win the Super Bowl.
Right, but it was all their fault that they got there too. Maybe.
No, you can't use reverse logic on Philly.
You're right.
If it wasn't for Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon, they win that Super Bowl.
But they gotta get there.
No, they would have been there regardless.
Okay.
Ask anybody from Philly. Ask anybody from Philly.
I mean, I'm in Philly. I live here.
Go ask your neighbor.
Okay, I'll be right back, guys.
Record the conversation.
Oh, I gotta bring the mic. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up here, we got the Buffalo Bills going to Miami. Bills are 3-point favorites in a win and division crown game.
Okay, so have you seen the scenario on this?
No.
Okay. Bills win this game. They get the 2 seed, and they win the division. So win, they get the 2 seed, and win their division. They lose, they're out of the playoffs.
So they got to win.
Is that crazy? And I think Miami is in no matter what because Miami's already at 11 wins.
Miami's clinched.
Yeah, because Miami's already at 11 wins. But I think if the Jags win, then I'm pretty sure if the Bills lose, they're out of the playoffs. But if they win, they get the 2 seed.
All right.
What crazy? You either
that's a 5-spot jump like with one game.
Yeah, 2 seed or nothing.
AFC's wild this year, bro.
So you either have home field advantage until the AFC Championship game, or you're watching from home. I don't know what the exact scenarios are, but I mean I'm pretty sure because you have Colts and Texans, one of them has to win, and I think they both somehow own the tiebreaker over the Bills. And then if the Jags win their division, they win their division. So I think it's just Jags winning and Bills losing. I think Bills are knocked out of the playoffs. But I think if the Jags lose and the Bills win, I think the Bills would technically get the 7 seed.
You know what's wild this year?
Huh?
We could have a playoffs with no Josh Allen, no Justin Herbert, no Joe Burrow, no Trevor Lawrence,
no Jalen Hurts. Oh no, I
So,
mean I guess he'll technically be there.
no Kyler Murray. No Kirk Cousins.
No Tom Brady
Yeah, no Tom Brady.
for the first time
No
in
Derek
what
Carr.
20 years.
No, I mean
Kirk
that's like
Cousins.
7 of the top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL who aren't going to make the playoffs this year.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, it's just wild.
Wild.
I mean, obviously there's injuries in there, but like,
No Sam Howell.
well, yeah, you're right. No, that's top 5 quarterbacks.
No Justin Fields.
Yeah, no Justin Fields.
That's fucking wild.
But actually, let's see. Let's do this again. We could see a playoff with
Joe Flacco.
Tua, Mahomes, and Lamar. Those are clinched. And then you could have
Flacco's
Joe Flacco.
clinched.
Yeah, so
Browns
Joe
are clinched.
Flacco. Well, but they're not memeable though.
Oh, yeah, that might be the best team in the AFC right now.
Yeah, so Joe Flacco is it?
Oh, Deshaun Watson was the other one you forgot a second ago when you were talking about top 10 quarterbacks.
Yeah. But so I want to see a playoffs with Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Gardner Minshew. That's what I want.
Well, it would be Mason Rudolph. I think they already said he's starting the rest of the season.
Even better.
Even better.
And then in the NFC, we'll get Dak and Hurts and Purdy and Stafford and Goff are in. So then let's get. Oh man, are the Falcons completely out?
Yeah,
they have to.
You know who's going to be playing in the first round in the NFC, right?
Who?
Stafford going to Detroit.
Oh, that's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
But right
what
now,
a
I'm just
story.
looking for the memes. So like,
that's going to be the most meme game of all time.
I want Drew Lock starting for the Seahawks. And then I want Baker Mayfield and
there's a little bit more stability in the NFC, I guess.
Jordan Love, I guess, would be the funnier one.
Maybe a Sam Darnold.
Ooh, yeah, give me some Dick Hammer up in here.
I might be more scared of Sam Darnold than Brock Purdy if we play the 49ers again.
Yeah. Okay. But anyways, Bills 3-point favorites, 49.5 total on this game. You have any thoughts there? I think the Bills probably get it done. I think it's going to be probably an interesting enough game because Miami probably wants to keep the Bills out, but not enough that they're going to risk injury on certain guys.
Yeah. I'm taking the over in this game. I think it's going to be a lot of points. I think Tyreek Hill has some 256 yards to break the record, Calvin Johnson's record, which will be a Mickey Mouse record because 17 games. But
you think he's not going to rest?
Tyreek? I think he's playing.
Dang.
He's
been banged up all year. I'd think that they'd just take the game. And his house burned down today.
Yeah. So I haven't seen anything. So I know he's okay since his house burned down. They said that fire was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I forgot about that. So yeah, man, because he had his mom there, all his family and everything. So maybe he doesn't play because of that. But it is in Miami. They're not going to Buffalo.
Yeah.
So if he was planning on playing before, I would assume
if he was
still playing
on before, I still wouldn't be shocked if he plays regardless. I mean,
if it was going to Buffalo, it might be different. But it's not like he needs 86 yards or something. It'll be the most yards he's had all season if he gets it. So
yeah, I would think these guys are gonna get a quick hook in this game. The Dolphins are banged up as is. They need everybody.
But they also probably want that home field advantage up until. And looking at the Ravens' track record, I mean, there's a good chance you get home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
If you win. And Miami's a tough place to play.
Yeah. So there is a bit more at stake there. I didn't think about the home field aspect, but you want to jump to some college before we wrap this up?
Yeah, welcome to college. I was extremely close from going perfect and so far away from going undefeated. So I went 0-2. And Bama was there until they weren't. And then Texas was really never there in the second half. And then somehow they had 4 opportunities to win the game and completely shit the bed. So I have no idea.
I just want to know what that speed out was.
And Stark is usually a great play caller. I don't get it.
That was the
That
most
was
bizarre, one of the most bizarre
insane.
plays I've ever seen.
Like they had no business even being in that game. How do you lose that game? It was crazy. But with Michigan, they bullied Alabama for half the game, and then
Which we talked about last week.
yeah, and then
That Bama's D lines aren't what they used to be and might not be able to stop Michigan's run game.
But then the second half came around, and Bama kind of bullied them the entire second half. And Michigan didn't do anything until they did something. And then Blake Corum went off. And then special teams and bad snaps and fumbles is what ended up killing Alabama. And then they ended up losing the game. Michigan
Was
wins.
it? I didn't catch the second half of it. I was doing New Year's festivities.
Yeah. So, I mean, last play of the game, they call like a kind of like a read option. They say it was supposed to be a read option. So Milrow was supposed to check to the running back who was running like a flood out, and he was wide open, and the center just bobbles it back there, and it just rolls back to him. And the running back's wide open. If he would have just picked it up and threw it, they probably go to double overtime. Who knows from there? But Milrow just panics, and since he's 6'3", 230, squats 500 pounds, runs like a 4.3. He just picked up the ball, panicked, ran straight forward, and got destroyed. And then everybody was like, "Oh, this is the best play they could come up with." And then when you actually saw the play design after the fact and like saw what was actually supposed to happen, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, walk-in touchdown. If the ball would have just been snapped. But that's what ended up losing the game for Bama. That was like the center's like 4th rolled back ball that game. Like he couldn't get the ball back to a ball game. I don't know if he was just scared for his life or what. But Michigan plays bully ball, which Texas ran the ball fine against Washington. They just stopped doing it. So I don't think Harbaugh will go away from it in the national championship.
No.
But we haven't really seen this Michigan team get tested down the field. And I wouldn't say Michigan's defensive line's a lot better than Texas's defensive line. They might have better coaching. They might have a better scheme. They might be more creative in finding ways to get to Penix. We'll see. But talent-wise, it's not too drastically different. And it didn't matter for Penix. He was getting the ball out. He was getting the ball to his playmakers, and he was fucking dicing that team up. Like I said, we haven't really seen Michigan get tested like that. But if Washington goes out and throws 3 touchdowns in 17 plays in the first half, and yeah, Michigan might be running it down their throat, but at what point does Washington have like a 3 and out and then go down and walk down the field and score another quick touchdown? And then instead of being a back and forth game, all of a sudden you're down 14. Then you're having to put the ball in J.J. McCarthy's hands earlier in the game. Maybe you get another 3 and out. Washington scores again. Like, I think Washington's very, very, very dangerous in this game at +4. So I'm taking Washington Huskies +4, and I'm taking over 55.5. And I'm taking the over solely because I think Washington can keep it close. So if Washington doesn't cover, it probably goes under. So I'm kind of double dipping here, but that's what I'm taking.
Yeah, I mean, I my thoughts are the same as yours. I think the upside's on Washington here. There are so many ways I could see this game going, And a lot of them are like, there are certainly ways Michigan can just dominate this game.
Oh yeah, I think Michigan can
But
absolutely blow them out. I mean, if Washington goes out and throws a couple early interceptions, and Michigan can just run the ball 37 times in a row, which they will and they can, and they go into halftime up 17-0 with 18 minutes of or 20 plus minutes of time of possession, like it could be a wrap from there. But like I said,
is
if
Washington ever out of that game, though?
yeah, exactly. And then like I said, if Washington gets hot and yeah, Michigan might say like, "Oh, we're gonna bully them. We're gonna bully them. We're gonna run the ball." It only takes 1 or 2 3 and outs to all of a
Mhm.
sudden be like, "Holy shit, we're down 14." Like we can't just run the ball, run the clock, and hopefully score at the end of it. Yeah, JJ McCarthy looked pretty good when he had to last week, but I mean, he was also like 2 inches away from throwing a killer interception that happened not to be an interception. And if that was an interception, they probably
2 in
lose
the
the
first
game.
quarter. He almost threw 2.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't. And then he kind of settled in and played well from there. But I mean, Washington gets them on gets them on their heels early, and they can get away from you quick.
I think with games like this, one thing I always like to think about is which team has the larger margin for error. And I think it's Washington.
Yeah.
Just because I think they can put up points in a hurry at some
The only
point in
thing
the game to get
the
back
only
in
thing
any.
about the only thing about Washington that scares me, which catching 4.5 kind of helps, but in the Texas game, up 9 with 3 minutes left, they couldn't close it out because they don't know how to close out a game without throwing the ball. Like
Yeah.
they can't. So if they're up 17 with halfway through the fourth quarter, it only takes a couple of 3 and outs, and then Michigan hits some big plays for Michigan to get right back into it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, and that's why I like the over. Because
yeah,
I mean, I
like the over as well.
I don't know who did Michigan. Yeah, Michigan's barely played a close game all year outside of like maybe Ohio State and Maryland. Like,
They didn't throw a single pass in the second half against Ohio State.
yeah. And that still ended at 54.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it should be. I think it'll be fun, but I think Washington can keep it close. And
Man, I wanted to see Bama Washington so badly.
yeah,
I wanted to
or
see like Kool-Aid against
Texas
Penix
Bama.
or against Odunze, and like that cornerback wide receiver matchup would have been just incredible.
Yeah, but Milroe played like shit in that game.
Yeah.
I think we're getting the two teams playing the best right now,
Probably.
outside of maybe Georgia.
Yeah.
Because I think the Bama win over Georgia was kind of a fluke. I think you play that game 10 times. Georgia wins 8. It was just Bama's night. But outside of Georgia, I think these truly are the two best teams.
Yeah. I think so.
And I mean, Washington, this will be Washington's 4th game in a row where they're underdogs. And they've passed every test put in front of them.
Go Huskies.
Go Huskies.
Here for it. I really do think that their wide receiver core is just something different. And like it reminds me of like Alabama when they had when they had
Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper. No, it wasn't Amari Cooper. It was
they had Jeudy and Waddle and Ruggs.
It might have been Cooper. Cooper
was like 4 years before them.
No, it was Ridley. Yeah, when I was thinking.
Yeah, Ridley.
But Ridley and Cooper. But Cooper was younger than Ridley. Cooper's younger than Ridley is what throws it off.
Yeah.
But Cooper just graduated and got out so quick.
And Ridley was like a 25-year-old rookie.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Amari Cooper's not even 30 yet.
Just catching dimes from Joe Flacco, the legend himself.
I mean, that dude played for the Oakland Raiders well before they even thought about becoming the Las Vegas Raiders, and then played a good portion of his career in Dallas, early on Dak's career. And now you look at him in Cleveland and you think like, oh yeah, that dude's getting old. I mean, he's still younger than like a lot of guys.
He is.
It's playing at a very high level, and yet nobody wanted to give anything for him, and everybody was like shits on Dallas for trading him for something so little. And I'm like, the whole league knew Dallas was going to cut him. Like, you could have had him for anything, and nobody offered anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Cleveland was the only team that offered anything, and then they try to shit on Dallas for it, and it's like we were going to cut him. It was purely financial. And Cleveland was like the only team in the NFL that was like, oh, we'll give you something. But somehow it's Cleveland fleeced Dallas when no. It's like the whole league is idiots. Like, the dude's still really
fair,
good.
From a someone who doesn't pay any attention to what people in Dallas say whatsoever, I don't hear that Cleveland fleeced Dallas. I hear the NFL is stupid.
No, I hear
that's what I hear.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't really brought up until like this season because nobody's been there to throw the ball to Amari Cooper. But then Joe Flacco gets there and everybody's like, "Oh, Amari Cooper's still really good." They're like, "Why is Amari Cooper in Cleveland?" And then people go look it up. And they're like, "Oh, they got Cooper from Dallas for a 6th-round pick," and nobody remembers like how it happened. They just see 6th-round pick from Dallas to Cleveland, and they're like, "Oh." But I've heard it. I've heard it on a bunch of national shows here in the last like 6 weeks. Well, I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit of a revisionist history.
To put your heart at ease, Chicago Bears fans remember that they did not offer a 5th-round pick for him.
Did they?
Oh yeah.
That is still crazy
about that. Why didn't they offer a 5th-round pick to get Amari Cooper?
Yeah. Anything. Yeah. I mean, there was a bunch of teams that needed a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And then, like, it was 2 weeks later is when, like, the market exploded. I forgot who signed the big contract. But then every, like, wide receiver contracts, like,
it was the Christian
Kirk. Yeah. And it was like, if Dallas would have held on to Amari Cooper for, like, 2 more weeks, his value probably would have been, like, mid-second to, like, a 4th. But the way his deal was structured, like, he was either going to be cut or a deal had to be done. And it just kind of snowballed, and then the Christian Kirk signing happened, and then all of a sudden, then I think Tyreek got traded for a 1st shortly after that, and somebody else did Diggs move right after that too, or DeAndre Hopkins? Like, people started moving all over the place, getting traded for like 1st, seconds.
Well, after the Kirk contract fucked everything up because it raised the price of all the free agents. Everyone was going, well, I don't want to pay that, so maybe we'll just trade for a guy instead.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, we could trade for Tyreek Hill for a 1st-round pick instead of paying.
And he's got 4 years under contract that was signed last year at these lower rates, so there's value.
Instead of paying Allen Robinson $17 million a year, I can get Tyreek Hill for a 1st-round pick.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just crazy. But yeah, like here, just a bunch of people in the national media, like the last 5 weeks, I've been seeing just talking about the Amari Cooper trade. Like, and it's like, it's a little bit of revisionist history, but like, I get it. Like, nobody in Dallas is really happy about it, but it had to be done. I mean, we had to save money. We had CeeDee Lamb, who, I mean, obviously, if you'd rather, I mean, right now, I'd rather have CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper. As good as Cooper has been, you take Lamb every day. I mean, he's going to catch for 1,600 yards this season. So,
yeah.
Like,
yeah. Their cap, like, they didn't really have a choice. Their cap situation was a mess. They needed to do something.
Yeah. But, yeah, everybody in Dallas still loves Amari Cooper. But, yeah. So, anyway, so crazy that he's only like 28.
Yeah.
But, all right. I think that's going to wrap it up, unless you got anything else.
No, I think I'm set.
Well, we've been saying it all year. It's week 18. Winning they're in. Don't sleep on them Texans, boy.
Don't do it.
Go Stroud.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.